Hello everybody and welcome to free UFC bet picks. Thanks for tuning into our show today. We are here breaking down UFC Vegas 16, Hermansson versus Vettori. These are our early predictions here after watching tons of tape. We will have our post-weigh-in video on Friday like normal with our final bets, parlays, daily fantasy advice, all that good stuff. So let's get into our fight here. It is a flyweight bout between Jimmy Flick and Cody Durden. Durden has an inch of height on Flick, but Flick does have a 3.5-inch reach advantage. The betting lines have Flick as the favorite at -194 and Durden the underdog at +156. Flick is coming in off of a 3-fight win streak for his UFC debut, and Durden did have a 9-fight win streak going right before his last fight, his UFC debut, that ended in a draw. So I'm sure you'll go much further into that. What are you thinking about this fight?
It's a good fight. I think this is closer than the line was even a couple days ago when Flick was like -170 or so. Money's still pouring in on him, and I get it, Flick's really good, but I think this fight's pretty close. You know, Durden is big. You know, he's a former 135er. He's dropping down here, so he said he always made bantamweight easily. He's dropping on a flyweight here. I think it's a good reason to wait and make sure he makes weight well. Yeah. And if you like Durden, you want to wait on this because the money, you know, the line's going to keep getting more and more advantageous for you. Durden, you know, is a good fighter. He is a good wrestler. He's won a boxing match and a kickboxing match. It was an SCL where we talked about like Justin Ledette, where it's kind of a freak show where these guys fight like a pretend tournament where they're trying to say, oh, they won a boxing match, a kickboxing match, and an MMA match in the same night, but it's kind of like a freak show. They're putting in these guys who have no business being in there.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing, but you know, he's got kickboxing wins and boxing wins. He usually trains with American Top Team in Atlanta. Now he's going down to the main American Top Team down in Coconut Creek, Florida. I think that's a good move. You know, lots of good fighters there to train with. His last fight, you mentioned it, the draw to Chris Gutierrez. You know, Chris Gutierrez is a good fighter. Basically, you know, Durden was coming in on 1 week notice. You know, Gutierrez is the bigger fighter there. Durden just had his back the whole first round, putting on like just really light, you know, strikes to the sides of the face, and Gutierrez just, you know, covering up the whole time. You know, Durden gets the 10-8 round there, and then rounds 2 and 3, Durden was really tired, and Gutierrez just lighting him up with leg kicks and striking. You know, Cody had trouble closing the distance when he wants to strike. He was tired, just throwing out like, you know, body kicks with no setup. So it was just the striking game, the cardio edge for Gutierrez that got it for him, but you know, Durden got the draw because of that 10-8 first round. Again, the judging in these grappling matches is so weird. Sometimes someone will have a dominant position the whole round and they, you know, win a 10-9. Sometimes they give them a 10-8. It's just, you know, a lot of inconsistencies there. But
yeah,
a lot of people thought that Gutierrez should have won that fight because that first round wasn't the most dominant round we've seen. But anyway, before that, you know, he gets a round 1 TKO over John Sweeney. In NFC, you know, not a really great organization. There was some bad blood there. You know, when he won the fight, he was screaming and yelling, flipped him off after winning. It was, again, just light ground and pound like I'm describing. So, you know, he had his back, so he had Gutierrez's back, like, just back control. He had back mount on John Sweeney. John Sweeney's, you know, on his belly, face down. And the ground and pound was really light again. The ref stops it, and John Sweeney immediately pops up. He wasn't hurt at all. You know, Durden has no power on his ground and pound, is what I'm trying to say gently. Before that, he gets a round 1 rear naked choke on Veron Webb, but Veron Webb was 36 years old. Before that, he gets the Dre Miley win. He knocks out Dre Miley in the second round. That was a good win. Before that, he gets a round 1 armbar against Jeremy Rogers, who was 0-6. You know, Durden hasn't fought great competition. And so I know these people are just looking at Tapology and they're like, oh my God, this guy's going to get torched. Jimmy Flick's a former LFA champ, you know, which is true. And so I think that's why the money's pouring in on him. But when you watch the tape, this fight's closer than you think. You know, so Jimmy Flick's last fight was on Dana White Contender Series. He gets the round 3 arm triangle, against Nate Smith. Nate Smith didn't have a good performance there. I think Cody Durden would have absolutely beat Nate Smith in that spot as well, especially with the performance that he put on against Chris Gutierrez. Jimmy was looking for subs all fight. Jimmy Flick is a submission artist. I didn't give him an appropriate introduction there, but he's got 15 wins, 13 submission wins across those 15 wins. He was the LFA champ until he vacated it to come here. He lost to Chris Gutierrez 2.5 years ago, interestingly, but that kind of doesn't matter much. He's grown a lot since then. So he's got okay striking. It's a little stiff, not great footwork, but great grappling. So yeah, but that Nate Smith fight, Nate Smith showed more submission defense than one would expect. He was dominating, Jimmy Flick, that is, was dominating the whole fight. He was throwing kicks to keep Smith away, keep him off balance, then close the distance, get him down. Like all 3 rounds, he had Smith down on the mat within the first minute. But he does a nice job of mixing up the striking to make that takedown less predictable. So the point is that the fact that Nate Smith took until the 3rd round to get finished doesn't actually bode that well for Jimmy Flick. Before that, we're used to seeing Jimmy Flick with these first round submissions. He got the 38-second arm triangle against Greg Fisher. Greg Fisher's 5'8", 69-inch reach. This is a title fight. Greg Fisher's a good fight. He was 10-1 with 5 submission wins. Fisher was actually a -170 favorite. Immediately Jimmy Flick goes in there, gets the immediate single leg takedown. He turns a corner. Fisher's defending it. And Fisher kind of puts his arm down, and we talked about this in a different video earlier. It was like a standing arm triangle. He's kind of on one knee and on a post, but it's not an arm triangle on the mat. He sinks in this arm triangle when Greg Fisher's trying to stand up. It's really slick, and then boom, as soon as it's in, Fisher knew it. He was on his back immediately. He goes down. He's trying to fight it off and gets submitted in 38 seconds. But it's hard to describe, but it's kind of a standing arm triangle off of a posted up, hands and knees scramble. So it's pretty sweet. Before that, he gets a round 1 submission over Jesse Bazzi. You won't have another MMA page. You will not have another prediction page that knows how that fight actually went. Bazzi was lighting him up, and he actually had some nice striking against Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick ends up getting him down and getting an arm bar. It was an arm bar. We're the only people that even know that. Before that, he lost to Ray Rodriguez, and this was an interesting fight. Ray Rodriguez is much bigger. Ray started out with some kicks. Jimmy was striking, but a little bit stiff. Jimmy gets him against the cage and was trying to take him down, but Ray kind of just spins him around a couple times, and they're just grappling around the cage. Finally, Ray gets to hold him there for a while, and he's landing knees on him and landing elbows. Jimmy gets a slam, and you can immediately see him fishing for the arm triangle, the Von Flue choke. And, he's hanging out on top for a while. Ray gets a sweep at the very end of the round. Jimmy takes a couple knees and punches and loses early in the second. So it was just so weird. Like the first round was so back and forth, so technical, so exciting, so even. The second round, Jimmy Flick didn't go for a takedown. He didn't throw a strike. It almost was like he was hurt or something, but there was no indication that he was hurt. He just stands there against the cage in the second round, and Ray Rodriguez throws literally just 10 unanswered strikes and finishes Jimmy. So it was really just kind of a strange fight. Before that, he arm triangles C.J. Hamilton, who we've seen on Contender Series. So Jimmy Flick's got good wins, but that Ray Rodriguez fight, it's kind of got Cody Durden's heavy-handed strikes and hooks and combos written all over it. I think this fight should be closer for all those reasons. Cody's got good takedown defense, good submission defense. Jimmy Flick didn't submit Nate Smith easily, and I think Cody Durden would run through Nate Smith. And the Ray Rodriguez fight, Ray Rodriguez does a lot of things that Cody Durden wants to do. So hope that's helpful. The takeaways are, if you like Cody Durden, wait. If you like Jimmy Flick, hurry up and bet him because the line's moving. Yeah. But I think you should wait for the weigh-ins because Cody Durden's coming down a weight class here, and it could make it really easy. It could make it really easy for us if he has big-time trouble making weight.
Yeah. And what about fantasy lineups? We've got Flick at 8,500 and Durden at 7,700.
I think they're both good plays. The bookies definitely expect this fight to finish. The fight to not go to decision is -265. I actually disagree. I think this fight very likely could go to decision. We see all these finishes for Jimmy Flick, but you know, when they're fighting better competition, it's not first round finishes. You know, they go into the third round or they go to a decision, like against Gutierrez. I think this fight to go to decision is a sneaky underdog pick. I would be very gentle on it. You know, it's like plus 220 or so. But I think that's more probable than a lot of people think. I don't think this is going to be some flash submission win for Jimmy Flick. But I'm often wrong. And the bookies are often right. And, you know, so the bookies think it's going to go, you know, get finished. The bookies think it's going to end in a finish. I think both of these guys are decent plays there. But I kind of just disagree with the way people are seeing this fight. I think it's going to be a very even fight, and I think it's probably going to go to decision.
Yeah. I'd agree with you there, and should be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, very.
All right. I think that does it for Flick versus Durden. Anything else you want to add on that one?
Hope that's helpful. Hope that's actually meaningful, and that we made good use of your time. We're not just scrolling through Tapology, telling you stuff you already know. We're not just saying, well, I think the favorite's going to win, but the value's on the underdog. Like, I hope this was a good use of your time because, you know, it took a lot of time for us to prep.
Yeah. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Yeah. And make sure you tune into that post-weigh-in video on Friday. Very important information in there. And yeah, hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.